RuneScape and old school RuneScape are two sides to the same coin, some people say. Though in reality, it's more of a diverging timeline sort of situation where the games split at a single point in time and are now two different realities. RuneScape kept evolving, and its lore, world, and mechanics have continued advancing at a fast pace. Old school RuneScape, however, stayed true to the nostalgic charm of the game, where its gameplay has remained nearly the same since its divergence, and the world has evolved down a different path. Whether you find one version of the game better than the other is an opinion, and no side is more correct than the other. As someone who's been playing since RuneScape Classic, I personally think both versions of the game are just, well, RuneScape. I think both games are good games and can coexist, and the communities from both should do what they can to help both games flourish. There is no reason for discourse between the two games, and I actively encourage players to play both games. And that is what I'm going to start doing. Though old school RuneScape has always appealed to me as a game, I never wanted to restart my progress when the game split. But with friends in both of these games' timelines, it's time for me to try going from RuneScape to RuneScape, experiencing the alternate timeline. Hello again, everyone. Kamora here. Welcome back to RuneScape, this time for episode 17. We're getting up there. Here are my stats and my levels for the day. 1082 total level. We got some lower level skills that we are going to work on, as well as some of the usuals, but we do want to get a couple random little quests here and there done as well. Have an EXP book. I'm going to go ahead and put it on construction, just showing off that sailing is not out yet at the time of this recording, but it is out in like 3 days time or something like that. It's like the 16th or something at this point. I also still don't know if you can put skill lamps or anything onto sailing right away or not, but we'll figure that out potentially after it comes out. First level we're going to quickly grab, though, is a nice even level 70 fletching. We can make yew longbows purely out of only fletching headless arrows. Kind of insane. Level 46 hunter as well. The hunting has started. I don't want to say it's slowed down. I'm not doing too many hunting or birdhouse runs every day. I should be, though. Level 19 herblore. I do want to start getting my herblore level up above construction, so my Tears of Guthix will continue to go into construction. Made a few potions that I had available in the bank, and then I'm going to go ahead and clean off all of my Harlander herbs. That gets me 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 herblore, and I think that's where I ended up. Back to more birdhouse runs as usual, up to 47. The feathers in this are nice. I do need feathers for more than just headless arrows. Don't want to be too surprising there. Level 68 farming with some nice raking content coming in. I do believe I get 3 mahogany trees planted, and so that's where that was coming in from. 48 hunter as well while I'm here. Gonna go ahead and get started on one of the most iconic quests in RuneScape. We are going to do the Fremenic Isles quest. The quest itself isn't particularly fun or anything. The boss fight is pretty memorable just because it's a surprisingly difficult fight, but the reward for the quest is, you know, it's an iconic helm. The Helm of Natisnot is insane. Looks-wise, stats-wise, it's fantastic. If you bring a Catspeak amulet when you start this quest, though, Raffen, or however you want to pronounce the cat's name, like, totally is under the idea that you're here to talk to him, and he's the king and ruler of this land, and it's really funny dialogue. Like, you're sitting here trying to talk to the king, but the cat thinks you're talking to it, and that the king is, like, interrupting him, and he's sitting here trying to demand food from you and everything, but it's really, there's so many funny quests in RuneScape. I love it. One might acquire the mistaken impression that the human rules this place. I command you to feed me. Like, what has the cat actually done for him to believe that he is in charge here, you know? A little unfortunate that there's not more interaction with the cat after the quest or anything, or you can't like directly talk to the cat and be like, what is going on here? But still, very funny, worth bringing. He wants a raw tuna. Go ahead and bring him one. And he's like, okay, I'll deal with all of this. Like, I'll eat. You guys can talk. Grab my uniform. Gonna go talk to some co-workers, just kidding. So the point of this quest is the two islands, yeah, 'tis so, and nay, 'tis not, are supposed to be like, yes, it is so, and no, it is not. Yeah, 'tis so, nay, 'tis not. Two different islands. The rulers of both islands are brothers. The ruler of yeah, 'tis so is like a paranoid, like, middle manager, has to be in charge. Everything has to be their way. Thinks they're flawless, doesn't actually get anything useful done, Gets all the pay, does none of the work, kind of thing. And they think that his brother, the leader of Nay Tis Not, is going to invade Yeah Tis So. He's like very paranoid that a war is coming and that they're going to invade. And so he wants you to go spy on his brother. And so you pretend to be a court jester and you come and you perform for his brother while eavesdropping on his conversations between the guards. It is a very great use of the Quest Helper plugin, because you do have to pay attention to what commands he wants you to do, and then you're supposed to remember the details being spoken about from the guards behind him. They talk like 8 or so different like dialogue lines of like, oh, we're attacking on this day, we have this many recruits in training, we have, and there's just small minor details that I do believe are different for everybody. I could be wrong on that. They could be the same for everyone. But you're supposed to be like distracted and making sure you do the right emotes and dances and everything, and then remember all of the information, because then you speak to your like spy friend and he quizzes you. He's like, oh, we do have information, so I'm going to test you to make sure that what you heard is true and you're not lying to us and everything. You go ahead and you answer all the questions and everything like that. Easy enough. And then he pays you for it. You actually make quite a bit of GP in this quest. It's quite nice. And then as the spy, you learn that Nay Tis Not is planning to go back to their roots because the trolls are invading in on their territory and they're getting aggressive. And the whole kerfuffle with Yeah 'Tis So and stuff has been distracting them from dealing with the real threat. And so they want to lead a raiding party to deal with the trolls. And he's like, okay, like, we need stuff done. You are a Fremennik. You're a human with a Fremennik name, but I don't completely trust you if you want to know our plans and help us in dealing with the trolls. And so he has you do different tasks to prove that you are friendly to the Fremenniks. The first thing you have to do is fix the bridges to the north. The trolls around here, for a low combat level that I am, are all aggressive, and they do hit quite hard. There was multiple times where I did get pretty close to dying just because they would smack you for a 10 multiple times and throw rocks at you for quite a lot of damage. But you get the bridges built, and then you go back. But he's still not quite trusting of you. You do have a few more things that you have to do, but you take the information that you learned and you go back to Yeah 'Tis So. You tell him that they are planning to attack the trolls and they're not trying to invade Yeah 'Tis So. He doesn't believe it. He wants to attack the trolls first because he thinks his brother is going to steal all of the credit. But there's no money in Yeah 'Tis So, so you have to go around collecting taxes for the dumbest things. The first thing is for windows in the buildings, and then there's not enough money still, so you go back and you tax everyone again, second time, and it's for like facial hair. And everyone is super depressed and is like, come on, like, we're bleeding money over here. Like, we're just trying to live. We can't do anything. But the king doesn't give a damn. He's just, trash. But he thinks that his brother is trying to take all the honor of dealing with the trolls. And so he's like, I'm going to do it first before he can. You come back. You get some more information. You have to perform for the king again. And it's kind of funny because afterwards he's like, well, thank you. That was much better than the last jester. And it's like, I was the last jester. What do you mean? Have I improved? Or are you saying I sucked last time? You know, you come back again and you're like, yeah, he's for sure not trying to invade. He doesn't care about this island. He doesn't want to fight you or anything. The king on Yatiso just does not believe you. And then you just shred into him. You're just like, you suck as a king. You don't listen to your people. Your people are starving. Everyone's poor. Everyone's hungry. And you're not dealing with this threat. And Nate is going to go deal with the threat. You come back and he's like, all right, like if you want to lead the raiding party as such a powerful adventurer, you're going to have to do a couple more things to take the position. You're going to have to get a full set of armor and the shield that the Nate is not people use. So you make yak hide armor and you get a Nate is not shield. And then you get to bring the raiding party in. It's a pretty hectic place. There's just a bunch of Fremennik people and trolls fighting. You have to kill 10 of the smaller trolls around here, but it is a multi-combat area. So if you're a lower level, they do recommend just hiding off in the corner and then attacking ones that get weak fighting NPCs. But you can talk to the NPC up here and get supplies, but you can only ask him for all of the supplies once, and if you don't have inventory space, you just miss out on some of the supplies. So I dropped a bunch of food over in the corner, kept trying to talk to him, but I kept getting aggroed. Managed to talk to him multiple times, just holding down keys to get the items early. Bunch of free food, free prayer potions, free strength potions. Was definitely worth it. And then after you get 10 kills, you get a message saying you can now go fight the Troll King. It's worth it to put Protect from Magic on when you cross the bridge, because the Troll King can attack with multiple things. And if you're using Protect from Magic, he'll only attack with range and melee, and not use a special attack, but your special shield and armor makes his range attack do way less damage. So you kind of just end up tanking it with magic. Prey flicking got a little, I'm still not perfect at it without using like the metronome or anything, but we do get the kill going. Didn't use a strength potion, totally forgot about that. Very nice kill. He can hit quite hard though, so it is kind of a dangerous fight if you're not careful. You rip off his head. That's kind of something that we do a lot in this game. You bring the head back to the king of Natiznat, Manus Brogar, and he's like, thank you, like you just saved us a ton. You get 2 combat EXP lamps for melee skills. I'm putting both of mine on defense, just because I do have the bone mace and I can just fight down in Scurriest, and it makes more sense to train attack and strength with that. And there it is. He hands you his crown, the Helm of Natiznat. The Berserker Helm, quite nice. Didn't last very long though, but the Helm of Natiznat is just a direct upgrade. I am now champion Dendar. That is right. Do not forget my Fremennik name. It is Dendar. You get access to the rune mine to the north of the island. Not anything I'm going to be dealing with at all soon. We got level 57 defense from the 2 EXP lamps. 55 crafting as well. We can cut dragon stones and make the Slayer Helm. That is quite big. We get level 47 woodcutting and 29 construction, which is quite nice, but still not quite up where we are. 1100 total level coming in as well. And here we will equip it and get a nice look at this beautiful helmet. At first, I kind of thought it was lame with like the feathers on it, but it grew on me. Speaking of growing, here we go. 69 farming with some pineapples. Gotta make sure it tastes like pineapple. Perfect plant to get this level with, if you know what I mean. Back to the birdhouse runs, grabbing level 49. And we're going to do another quest. We have had access to this quest and this quest line for a while. There's just so many items that you have to bring and do, or like get for this quest, that I'd kind of been putting it off. Back in Canopus though, speaking with Van Strom Klaus, which is funny because if you know who he is, like, you wouldn't really help him in the beginning, but without spoiling it, we are going to start the In Search of the Meyer Key quest. I'm almost fairly certain it's pronounced Meyer Key, though I've heard some people say Myrique, Meyer Q, but I'm pretty sure Meyer Key is just the correct pronunciation. But if I'm wrong, let me know. I don't care about, I'll say it right if I can remember to. Come down, you have to talk to the boatman in Bergerat, or in Morton, but of course there's NPCs running around, and so every time I'm trying to have a conversation with this nice man, NPCs walking on over, attacking me, interrupting the dialogue. Again, that's 2 or 3 different times. I'm just sitting here trying to talk to him. I did get the achievement diary of taking the boat down here, and then you just talk to him once you get down here, but ended up just skipping through the dialogue just so an NPC didn't interrupt it for like a 3rd or 4th time. He doesn't really trust you or really want to help you, but you kind of convince him to. He kind of tells you where to go to meet up with the Meyer Key. You take the boat back up. Which is funny because this boat is almost always taking down to Morton for barrows, but you almost never take it back up outside of like this quest. You go across the bridge, you talk to this guy out here. He asks you a bunch of questions that you need to answer to prove that you are a friend of the Meyer Key. I don't know where you're supposed to get this information in the game, honestly. I don't know if there's like books or NPCs you can talk to get the information. So thankfully the Quest Helper plugin just gives you the information anyways. And then once inside, you sneak in through this little crack in the wall. And it brings you over into the Meyer Key hideout. Harold talks to you as soon as you come in, and you're like, I'm not even here for you, bro. I've got weapons. And he's like, oh, that's not my area. Talk to the leader. It's like, that was kind of the whole point I was down here for in the first place. But, you know, you speak to Veliev, and he's just like, you got in here, and no one has attacked you, so what? Like, why are you here? And you're like, oh, I've got weapons for you to supply you with. He's like, that's great, but I'm kind of busy right now. Like, if you want to help, like, introduce yourself to everyone, you just click on everyone to talk to them. You don't have to go through any dialogue. You just have to interact with them. And then you come back, you talk to him, and he's like, oh, I heard you have weapons. And you're like, I do have a ton of steel weapons. And you give them to him, and he's like, wow, these are great. And then a cutscene busts out. He knows exactly what it is. Puff of smoke billows in, and of course, it's Vanstrom. But he wasn't a human this whole time. He's been a vampire. And he was using us. He followed us into the lair. He had been searching for the Meyer Key as well, and he, bam, you know, blood barrages or blitzes or something like that. A 30 somehow. Pretty strong, you know. NPC mages are always very strong. And then a 40. No, Harold. Of course, Harold had 10 more HP. Did you see how big he was? Constitution level right there. And then for some reason he spares us, but he leaves behind a skeleton hellhound, which salve amulet doesn't work on, by the way. Easily kill it though. Very weak enemy with prayer. You know, nothing ever hurts too bad. You speak to Veliev afterwards, and you're like, oh my god, dude, like, this is all my fault. Like, he used me like he was a human. I thought he wanted to help. He followed me. I'm the reason everyone's dead. And Veliev is just like, yeah, that sucks, but honestly, I'm alive because you're here. More of us would have died if you weren't here to protect us. So while this sucks, like, at least there's a good thing. I don't know how this dude's so positive. You know, I'd be like, get out of here. I'm gonna kill you. Never come back. Never talk to us. But he's like thankful, and he's like, go deal with what you have to do. Come back. I'd love for you to try to help us more in the future. Like, bro, you just saw 2 of your friends die. Like, I would not be in a happy-go-lucky mood. You come back to the Bar in Canifis, and Vanstrom's not here, and now there's just a stranger. Suspicious, but that is quest complete. We get 2 quest points. We get access to the Hollows, 600 EXP in attack, defense, strength, and hit points, as well as crafting. Didn't get any levels though. Not too much EXP there. 1 more birdhouse run, getting level 50 hunter. Quite a nice little milestone level there, you know, halfway to 100 and all. Speaking of doing some new levels, there's my first fish I have ever caught in this game, outside of Barbarian Village, Barbarian Village. Got the achievement diary there. Level 30 fishing coming in. Can't carry any more fish. Level 31 fishing though. Get some cooking in Lumbridge because you burn less. Level 27 cooking. I do need level 30 for a quest, so that's kind of why I'm doing all of this. Level 28 coming in there as well. You can't carry any more fish. That was my level up message. It never shows up afterwards because I interrupt it. But level 32 fishing, level 29 cooking. Going all the way to Lumbridge was taking way too long, but wow, you burn so much. 1,111 total level down there. That does look quite nice. You only get to see that once. 1111. And I've already ruined it. with another fishing level. Here we go. We get level 33 fishing. Pew, we can now catch tetra and net giant frog spawn. You know, I know exactly what that is. Level 30 cooking, that was the goal there. You see it at the bottom there, the chompy bird. A little foreshadowing into the next quest. We are going to do big chompy bird hunting. Kind of a weird quest. All of the ogre quest lines are always so weird to me. But yeah, you're down here helping Rance catch and cook some chompy. So the first thing you do is you cut some of the achy trees, and then you fletch them into shafts. Then you chisel wolf bones into arrow tips, and you put the arrow tips onto the headless arrows. And then, of course, what you have to do then is you have to get a chompy to appear. So you give Rance the arrows, and he's like, all right, well, now you got to get the puffy frog or something like that. You have to go inflate a frog because that is the bait for chompies, apparently. And so you go into his house, you open his chest, which is super strong, it's super heavy. It lowers your strength level every time you fail. You get the bellows, you take the bellows out to the swamp, and you fill it up with swamp air. And then you put it in the mouth of a frog and pump until it's inflated. Look up frog inflation if you want to know more. Please don't. Grab 3 of them because they can despawn during the quest, and then you have to, use another one as bait. I'm going to refill the bellows as well, just in case. I do have to come back here at some point for the chompy pet and achievement diaries and everything, but you go ahead and you drop the inflated frog, and then you kind of just run away a little bit, but keep it on your screen still, and wait for the chompy to spawn, and then Rance will attack it. He misses, he blames the arrows, and you're like, I got this, I'll do it myself. Give me the bow. And of course I had 3 arrows, like, yeah, hindsight 2020, should have done a little more with that, so I had to, thankfully, the arrows kept falling onto the ground. I was able to go pick them up. I was like, dang, am I really gonna have to go make some more arrows? And of course, a random event. Every time I'm doing quests and fights in quests, random events, that's like the only time I ever get them. And he's sitting here like, help me. I need your help, King Komori. I can't read the headstones and move the coffins. Do it for me. And thankfully, I was able to kill the chompy with the 3 arrows. You pluck the feathers off the chompy bird, you pick up the raw chompy, and then of course I dealt with Leo and his random event because I don't have all of the rewards from random events yet. There we go, we got the zombie trousers and gloves, 2 collection logs coming in. I'm a clogger, let's go. You talk to Rance again with the dead chompy, and he's like, alright, well you gotta cook it for me now. Like, you gotta do everything at this point, but you gotta go talk to my kids and ask what sides and what they want you to cook it with as well. One kid wants cabbages. I don't even remember what the other one wants because I just clicked out of it immediately. I think he wants the dougal leaves. And then I attempt to cook it. Thankfully, I don't burn it. I kind of forgot about the fact that you can burn it, and I have just the bare minimum cooking. Got lucky there. You feed it to Rance. And he's like, delicious. This is some real gourmet shit. You know what I'm saying? And that is quest complete. You get 2 quest points, 1,470 cooking EXP, 735 ranged EXP, 262 fletching EXP. You get to keep the ogre bow, and you have the ability to make ogre arrows now. Again, won't be back here for quite a while until I have to do, is it like 300 or 1,000 chompy kills or something like that for one of the diaries, and then there's all the headgear, feather collection logs and stuff, so I'll be back at some point. Level 31 cooking, we can cook fish cakes and larupia. But that is going to be where I go ahead and call it for a video today. Just another kind of short, typical one with a lot of levels in it and a few quests. We are starting to get into some of the longer quest lines, like the vampire quest line and such. The Fremenic Isles was a huge one. Again, the Nata's Not Helm is a fantastic piece, but I do want to get maybe base 50 on all of my stats. That might be my next major goal, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you all back in another one. And until then, peace.